Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Zach Lesage here, and we are back with another deck profile and PTCGO playthrough video. If you're missing any of these cards in your PTCGO collection and you're looking to build this exact deck, you can head over to PTCGOstore.com, plug in code RARECANDY to save some money off your order. Or if you're one of our patrons at patreon.com/rarecandytcg, we do have a special code only for you right there. So jumping into this deck, I was actually able to come second at the 2020 Oceania International Championships in February with a very similar list. This is actually an updated list from that tournament. The only thing that I've really changed here is I cut a Mega Lopunny, which was more of a metagame call for that day for a Volcanion that we see here. That's normally from the Unbroken Bond sets, but we got the cool promo looking one here. This deck is an incredibly powerful deck utilizing cards such as Welder and Ninetales to have energy acceleration, gusting, and a strong suite of attackers. So overall, this deck, you want to choose the correct attackers for each and every matchup. There's a different attacker that you might want to use. So if you're playing against something like Mewtwo and Mew GX, you might want to use Reshiram Charizard GX. Or if you're playing against an ADP Zacian deck, this might be a really good time to use Heatran GX. So lots of different opportunities to use different attackers. Overall, this deck has some pretty strong matchups in the metagame. And I want to go over it, so in case anyone's traveling to any major events or wants to know exactly my thoughts on this deck heading into a League Challenge or League Cup, even your local league play, I wanted to go over it here. So I'll go over each available card, and I might skip over some that are a little bit less intuitive, like Switch. Switch is a pretty common card in most decks, so if you haven't already, take a screen grab of this right here, click, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. Jumping in, we got Turtonator. Turtonator is great because it allows you to take your energies that you had from a previous attacker. So let's say you got a big Double Blaze GX attack off on a Mewtwo and Mew GX. They are unable to get a knockout on you the next turn because they're out of energies or something like that. Turtonator can use all those energies that were in play before and discard them with Explosive Jet. Similarly enough, if you have Heatran GX in the active position and you used a huge Hotburn GX, you can totally take all those energies from Turtonator. Works well when you're spreading energy around from using Volcanion's Flare Starter, or if you used Victini V's Spreading Flames. Heatran GX is probably my go-to attacker because it has the most efficient attack, Steaming Stomp for Fire, colorless. You don't have to discard. It's not a GX attack. It's a pretty easygoing 130 that can knock out most Pokemon. You can often set the pace of a game on the first turn by taking a knockout on a Jirachi or even a Zacian V with Steaming Stomp. Hotburn GX is great if you want to knock out a GX Pokemon. Quite often, I wonder why I have Reshiram and Charizard GX in the deck, because Hotburn GX to me is a little bit more efficient. You can scale your damage as necessary, and it does the same amount as Double Blaze GX, because this is doing 300 for 6, where this is doing 50 per energy, which is also 300 for 6. But if your opponent has something like a big Charm in play, you can knock them out with Hotburn GX. Reshiram Charizard GX, I really play this because it has a lot of HP, it can withstand a hit, works really nice with Turtonator if it does withstand the hits, and there's other options too where you could pace yourself by getting a knockout with Outrage early or Flare Strike early and then going into a Double Blaze GX. Double Blaze GX, to its full effect with the extra 3 energies, is really good against Obstagoon, so do keep that in mind as Obstagoon becomes more and more known to our community and it becomes more and more respected as a deck. Double Blaze GX and Reshiram and Charizard GX are very worthwhile to include into this deck. Victini Prism, this card's awesome because it allows you to recycle all of the 18 energies that this deck plays back in with Infinity. And it is infinite. It really helps you against your Chinchino control matchup. I know in the top 4 of the Oceania International Championships, I was able to get past a Chinchino mill deck with ease because I could keep on bringing up their Pokemon with Ninetales and avoid decking out by shuffling in plenty of energies each turn. So this works out great. It's also a 2 energy attack, so late game, if you do have plenty of energies, let's say 14 of those energies in your discard pile, you can knock out some heavy hitting Pokemon, such as an Arceus Dialga Palkia GX, Mewtwo Mew GX, ReshiZard, lots of things going on there. Victini V, this card is very similar to Volcanion with its Spreading Flames attack. On your first turn, if you're able to go Welder and Spreading Flames, you could often overwhelm your opponent by having 6 energy in play. Energy Burst is extremely strong as well, and if your opponent has any energies on their Pokemon, you can quite often match them. With Welder, you can attach 3 energies in a turn, 2 energies from Welder, 1 energy as your natural attach. So that means your Energy Burst could be doing 90 damage very quickly. With popular Pokemon such as Jirachi and Zacian V, both being weak to Fire type, Energy Burst will do extra damage against them, and it does become quite an efficient attack. Like I said, Flare Starter, very similar to Victini V's Spreading Flames. We could search for our energies specifically on our second turn to power up our Pokemon. High Heat Blast is also a strong attack if you're bringing up your opponent's Malamar, or if you're knocking out another single prize card Pokemon, or you could even knock out a Zacian V if you have at least 4 energy in play. 110 times 2 is 220, which is a perfect number to knock them out. Played this Vulpix over the Vulpix that has Tail Whip. That's just because a lot of players are playing Absol, because a lot of players are playing Jirachi, and that means a lot of players are playing Switch. With it only being the defending Pokemon at that time, you're not going to be protected with Tail Whip. It's not like this one is insanely better. It has an HP boost of 10. I really don't see myself using Flare in any relevant situation. But at the same time, it's one of those things where the HP might matter a little bit more on this card, where your opponent might only be able to do 60 instead of doing 70 damage. Again, it's really not a big deal, but this one right now is superior. Ninetales is probably the reason why this deck works. You could bring up your opponent's Pokemon, and in this format, the only consistent ways we really have are Pokemon Catcher, which is a coin flip, Custom Catcher, which you have to play 2 cards, Great Catcher, which has the required bit of it being a GX Pokemon in this format. So 9 Temptations, really strong, discards energies, and we have a lot of energies to discard. Then a GX, we're basically using this for Dead Change, discarding it to draw cards. You can either use it to get energies in your discard pile for Victini V, or for Victini Prism, or Victini V, I guess, at that point as well for Spreading Flame. But you mainly just want to have enough cards in your hand to make your deck consistent. Jirachi is a consistency boost with Stellar Wish. Make sure that you have an escape board or a switch on hand if you're planning on using Stellar Wish. And moving into the trainer supporter stadiums, Fiery Flint. So I know a lot of people have asked me why I play 2 copies of Fiery Flint instead of playing 3 Giant Hearth. It's because I'm worried about chaotic swell in general, and I like that I could play 2 Fiery Flint in the same turn, and it does thin more cards from the deck. If stadium control became much more of an issue, where there was negative stadiums such as Shrine of Punishment, or let's say Lysander Labs, maybe it's appropriate to switch back to going to 1 Fiery Flint, 3 Giant Hearth, but I do find that the Fiery Flint works out really nice, especially when we have access to Lucky Egg, which does allow us to draw extra cards. Palpad, we literally run off 4 Welder. We want to be running off of 6 Welder. If we could play 10 Welder, this deck would probably play 10 Welder. Palpad allows us to get as close to that as possible without wasting the consistency, because Palpad is difficult to find in the deck. Pokemon Communication, I'd really want to play 4 copies of this card to make the deck a little bit more consistent, but I found that Lucky Egg is really worthwhile, especially when your opponents are using Reset Stamp, one of the biggest weaknesses for this deck. So 3 is fine. Quick Ball, save this deck. The only Pokemon that you technically can't search out with Quick Ball is Ninetales, but in that case, that's why we have the 3 Pokemon Communication, so we could lower it a little bit. And Quick Ball, it's quickly becoming a staple from the Sword and Shield standard format, so it's working its way in there. Switch, pretty much to just get out of the active position or for Stellar Wish. Searching for fire energies. Drawing cards. Welder, we've gone over Welder so many times on this channel. Probably one of the best supporter cards we've ever seen printed this game. Skateboard, usually using it on Jirachi, but if you do face against any Macargo GX control decks that play the Mareep and Slumbering Forest, a skateboard does get around that. Lucky Egg, if you're getting knocked out, put it on the Pokemon that you think is going to get knocked out, or put them on your Pokemon that you don't want your opponent to attack, basically, because sometimes they will not attack a Pokemon specifically because it has a Lucky Egg. We've got 18 fires here so that we could do all of our fun stuff with Welder and Fiery Flint and Ninetales and yep, basically all the fire Pokemon and stuff that we got in the deck. So overall, we got a pretty solid deck. I was able to get 400 championship points with it at the Oceania International Championships. And it is one of the best decks in the format. So if you're playing it anything going forward, I 100% recommend playing this deck, or at least giving it a try. So let's jump into some games to see exactly how it works out. Okay, Metal Dragon Lightning Fairy. What can we play against? Swaginator 5000. Word, what's up? And I won the flip. Do I want to go first or second? I think I definitely don't want to go first, no. For the most part, if you're going into a matchup blind, you want to be going second, just because this is the exact case on how you could welder and just win games. Do I want to put ReshiZard down is the big question. I'm going to go with... It's probably my better start. Actually, Heatran's probably better. Let's go with Heatran. Let's see. If our opponent just goes Zacian, we might be able to just steal the game from them anyways. Because it looks like they're playing Zacian something. Definitely will draw an extra card. I mean, I don't see any reason why not to play it down. Okay, so they started with ADP. Hopefully they do not get an energy. By them starting with ADP, it's pretty solid for them. Oh, if they switch into Jirachi and leave it there, we can get a knockout with Steaming Stomp, get a knockout next turn with Heatran GX, and then knock it as Zacian to win the game. So we might be in a good position, and that's if they don't miss a single beat. If ADP misses a single beat, this matchup is relatively strong for us. So there's an energy, there's a Zacian. Okay, and they're gonna leave us the Jirachi. Hopefully they. Okay, so they only got one energy. Didn't discard anything. We might be okay here. And yeah, we're looking okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Probably should have checked through the deck there, but I'm sure we'll have an opportunity within the next turn or so. Let's go Welder. And I just want to Welder onto the Heatran because we are able to go for our Steaming Stomp. And you want to know what? Why not? They have no Absol in play. Let's just try to get as much of a setup as possible. Perfect. There's that. I could always use the Denny next turn. We already have our energy attachments. We already have everything. I don't know if I necessarily want to get rid of ReshiZard. If we top deck a Pokemon Communication, we might be able to get a Ninetales out. So let's just go for a turn 1 knockout with Steaming Stomp. So even though our opponent had an incredible turn 1, we're not necessarily doing bad at all on our end either. If we're able to get a Welder and 2 more energies, a Welder and 3 energies, sorry, we could use Heatran GX and knock out this ADP, leaving that Zacian relatively chillin'. They have to discard a decent little bit there. So hopefully, wow. So this could be exactly the situation that we talked about. So there is a Quick Ball. We're going to go for Jirachi or Dedenne for 1. I'm going to go Quick Ball again to put, I think at this point ReshiZard is just kind of over. And I'm just trying to think about what our best option is here. Are we going to... I'm honestly fine with just grabbing a Jirachi out of the deck to pitch it away. Okay, so there is going to be an energy just in case we naturally get the other 2. Let's go to Dedenne GX and try to get a Welder Fire. No! This is not great. Because we were close to it. We got the Welder part. We just did not get everything else that we wanted. So this is where our opponent can steal the game from us. And it becomes incredibly difficult for us to win. So let's go for Steaming Stomp. Why Why? There's a Pokemon Communication. Let's Pokemon Communication away one of these Jirachis. Let's get out our Ninetales because there's nothing else that we can do. This is tragic. God, we have so many fire energies in the deck. We had another 10 just chilling in there and we got none of them. Not even enough so we could bring up something with Ninetales, a Giant Hearth. Like, we had so many outs and it's incredibly crazy that we missed it, but it's fine. It's a turn 2. We're fine with Steaming Stomp. At that point, I maybe should have used Hopper and GX because it's likely that they're going to knock us out. But if they are able to knock us out, they'll need to use a Vitality Band or a Shrine of Punishment. See exactly if they just go in. Sure, we're going to get a bunch of fire energies here. We'll see what the Marnie brings for us. This might be difficult for us at this point. I think they're actively searching for stuff that can get them the knockout. They might miss as well. I would have actually just gone on with the Zacian at that point to guarantee the knockout on the Heatran. Like, they're either thinking really hard or something's going on. Is it for a Rangaroo at this point? I won't feed them a Dedenne. Okay, there's a Mimikyu. Guess they just want to power that up. Okay, so that was as much as we missed, and that sucks. Could be worse. Okay, so we have a Victini V here. We have, let's just go Fire Energy there. At this point, we might as well go Switch, because if we just get out something, we can go Giant Hearth, get a couple fires. Stellar Wish. Let's just grab another Giant Hearth from our hand. Actually, we probably should have left the Giant Hearth in there in case they Marnie us again, but if they Marnie us, it's not the biggest worry that I have. Okay, let's do that. No. Gotta be careful, and let's go for the Hot Burn GX. So that's gonna be doing 200 damage. And that's the knockout. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So I'm fully expecting a reset stamp or a Marnie or something. Think our opponent's just going to try to trap us here. They need to bump our stadium in order for them to get a knockout here. Or in order for them to guarantee win. Otherwise, we could just bring up something with Ninetales. At that point, we also have 2 prize cards left, so it's not looking incredibly terrible. It's really one of those things where we got to see exactly what's going on our opponent's side. They attach an extra energy to Mimikyu, okay. They got to take a knockout with something here. And they can't use Stellar Wish and Slap at the same time. They can't put up Zacian V, because Victini V knocks it out. We might just be in a position where we checkmated our opponent. Okay, there's a reset stamp. So we'll find out exactly what's going on here. The Quick Ball Alternator is really nice because we do have access to Dedenne. It's an energy switch. What is going on? Drawing into a bunch of custom catcher. Wow, this turn is just keeps on going on and on. They're looking for something. Those Pokemon catchers. Uh-oh. So they are able to get a knockout on this Victini V and this Heatran. the big question is how do we get around this? I'm gonna set up the Jirachi, and I'm gonna have to figure that out. How many energies do we have in our discard pile? We need to have 6 if we want to get the knockout with Victini V. How many switches have we used? We've used 3, so I know that that's likely not going to happen. Let's go Quick Ball, discarding a Jirachi for a Dedenne. So I put Dedenne and Turtonator down. We have plenty of options still. They have nothing that's stopping us, and they're down to 1 prize card, so let's just see exactly what we got here. We are a Welder away from getting this knockout. If we get a Welder, we are good, because we could put the Pokemon Communication away with the Dedenne GX to grab a Victini Prism Star and steal this game from our opponent. Sure, we could always put the Lucky Egg on as well, but we are just getting the knockout with Infinity. So that's how this deck does. It's a close matchup. Their deck can be really spooky, but it is favorable for AbilityZard. Okay, so we're going to see exactly how this goes. We lost a flip, but that's fine. We'll see exactly. Yeah, they're going to go first. This deck's actually okay going second because we can use Welder. And no basic there for us. Let's see. Not horrible. Okay. Are we playing against a mirror match? Oh. I have no clue. Is this Macargo control? I'm actually not even sure exactly what's going on here. So yeah, I don't want to put the Heatran down. I'm gonna just wait because I could always Pokemon Communication it away if I really want to. Yep, so we'll see. If they don't get another basic, it's very possible for us to win the game on this first turn. And there's another basic. I've seen a few lists with Macargo, and they are playing the correct Slugma because they can Magma Ring us to death. Are they playing? How are they playing this deck? Is it control or is it attacking? And that's the biggest thing that it takes me a second to figure out exactly what's going on with this deck. Okay. I really want to knock out that Slugma, if that's a possibility. But at the same time, I know that we can do a lot of cool stuff here, so let's just go, like, Quick Ball, discarding a Fire. Oh, and we prized our Volcanion. Okay. So let's try to go for a quicker game then. Or I guess we could always go for a Victini V and seeing exactly what our opponent does. Because we could power up our Pokemon pretty quickly in this matchup. So we could actually do that. So yeah, let's get Victini V there. And I probably should have wasted... That being said, I should have gone in for Pokemon Communication first. Because it's going to be a little bit more difficult than I want it to be to get out all the energies. But again, it's one of those things where prizing kind of screwed us here. So we're going to go for Dedenne GX there. Let's put the Victini V. Let's switch into it. We should be able to get an energy. And let's go Dedenne GX. So let's see exactly how this goes. Perfect. So we did get an energy, not necessarily the kind that we wanted, but let's go for... We wanted 2 if we were getting a Welder. Okay. We did get a Heat Factory there as well. So let's go for the Heat Factory. And we have all these cool cards. Let's just... We have 3 in there, I think. Yeah. So we're all good. Let's just power up another energy on, let's say, Vulpix. Or actually, we got the knockout here with energy bursts. Let's just go for that. That sounds completely fine. I wasn't even thinking because they attached the energy. I played against this matchup actually at the Australian International Championships, and I was able to win because I ran them out of Slugmas. Because they have to evolve into the Magcargo and the Magcargo GX, which often, there's the Volcanion, which often slows them down enough. So, just seeing exactly what we got going on here. Okay, so there's a Welder. They do have the Giant Hearth. Let's see if they're able to get a knockout here with their Magcargo GX. And another thing I gotta watch out for is their GX attack in case we have 5 cards or less. Ooh, Dedenne. Please don't get it. Trying out here. I don't know if they're just like thinking about it or what exactly is going on. It really sucked to lose a Victini V here. There's another energy. Just gonna go Flare or Magma Ring. Wow. That worked out really well for us. So we automatically have the knockout on board. And that's the one that I would like to knock out. So let's go for Giant Hearth, discarding a Fire Energy to get out 2 more Fire Energies that we are then going to discard with Fiery Flint to get out 4 more Fire Energies. You might be wondering why I want to discard those. It's because I want to attack with Victini Prism later on in the game with Infinity. So let's attach these to a Pokemon that I don't necessarily think is getting knocked out, such as Jirachi. The reason why I want to do that is to either bank energies for Turtonator or for Heatran GX. So let's go like that. We got a few energies. That's our second Welder, so let's go with Palpad just to put some stuff back in there. I guess I also could have attacked with Volcanion this turn and switched. That might have been a little bit better, but I think we're still in a good position. Gonna get the Ninetales out there regardless. We're gonna attach another energy to, let's say, let's just put on this Vulpix just so we spread out our energies a little bit. And let's go Energy Burst because that's 120 as well. So you can see, like, it doesn't necessarily matter with the Pokemon that you're attacking with as long as you're chasing those prize cards. So we have the Pokemon Communication for next turn. We can knock out a Magcargo GX next turn, which will put us down to 2 prize cards remaining on our 3rd turn, if they are able to evolve into a Magcargo GX. And see, we could still even get, even if our hand's bad, we still have access to Quick Ball here, which means that we should be able to get a knockout with Heatran GX as long as they do not evolve. And I guess if they don't evolve, then our Victini V is good in general as well. We could also just Quick Ball for, what's it called? Quick Ball for Dedenne, putting Victini Prism Star down. We'll see exactly what our opponent gets off this Welder. Okay, with the Pokemon Communication, unless they're having some pricing issues, it's definitely one of those things where they should be able to have the Magcargo GX if they want. Some of these lists do play Island Amulet Challenge, so we still might be able to get that knockout. And if they don't get a Slugma or a Ditto Prism down, they won't be able to do anything next turn. And that's the reason why I dislike this Magcargo GX so much. It's Crushing Charge, really good. Everything works really well for this deck. But if they just don't get the Slugmas out, it's extremely difficult for their deck to work. And they're just going through resources like crazy. We can see that there's another custom catcher there. So, Crushing Charge, perfect. They're going to take that energy. And there's the Lava Flow for the knockout. So if I can hit for 210, I can hit for the knockout. I have 8, so 160. I'm just going to put the Jirachi down here. We have the Giant Hearth, so I'm not entirely worried about what's going on here. There's Giant Hearth. And if I can't get the knockout normally, I might be okay. Just want to get the Dene because I can't risk anything else. And at that point, I'm going to put down the Victini Prism Star because that sounds really good. There's no reason not to take away from Ninetales or anything like that. Let's go to Dene GX. There's nothing in play that's stopping us. And seeing exactly how this is going to work. So we did get a Welder. It just comes down to how many energies do we need. We have 8. There's 9. We still need another 2. I think we're a little out there. Let's go Giant Hearth, grab a couple. Maybe we can grab a Fiery Flint or something like that. No, it doesn't look like it because we already have all of that gone. So I think that our best answer might be... Well, I guess we'll see what Welder brings. Yeah. How many energies is that now? Yeah, we were short by 1, which is really bad. If they had an Absolute, it'd actually be better for us right now. Stellar Wish to see what we could do. And I'm saying we're off by 1 because even if we retreated, that would be the point that would matter. I'm just going to grab a Giant Hearth in case they try to stop us next turn. This is a little rough, especially if they can get like a Custom Catcher or Great Catcher. But we'll take those energies back and we'll hit them for infinity. Maybe next turn we could have just attacked them with like Volcanion to try to set it up a little bit different. Because our plan is to knock out the Magcargo GX and knock out their Dedenne GX. And by us putting damage on this anyways, even if they play Island Amulet Challenge, it's something that they might not be able to play down. I think it's only when it's attacked by damage. So it's one of those things where if our opponent doesn't draw 2 prize cards this turn, I think we're in the clear. Or they have options to make mistakes with Island Amulet Challenge. Oh, they play Feeny. That's really good to know, actually. And they play Mewtwo Mew. So how exactly, once during your turn, you may discard the top card of your deck. Okay, and then attach it to one of your Pokemon. So they could naturally get it. They should be able to get an energy in general, I think. Because they could put cards on top with Oranguru. So we'll see exactly how they decide to do it. I don't know why they attach an extra energy. Because I don't... unless they go for another Oranguru, they won't be able to get the knockout on anything like a Dedenne. Oh, wow. Okay, so if they go Oranguru, place one on top of the deck, they could attach one to the active, then they could bring up a Dedenne GX. Which, like, I mean, is kind of hot. That does work out. Wow. So it's getting close out here. I don't know how many great catchers they would play, or how many anything else, like what else they would play, but we'll see exactly what our options are here. Let's go Jirachi. And again, I don't want to attack with the GX Pokemon this turn. Let's try to get some of our other energies in the discard pile because we just shuffled a whole bunch back. There's no Lysander Labs in play, so let's just go with Volcanion, attach the energies to the Volcanion. And let's go ahead and bank another energy in play. But we still have opportunities. Let's go for Stellar Wish here, see if there's something good that we can grab. Let's just grab a bigger hand. Attaching an energy to this Ninetales in case we just got a Heatran or something like that for next turn. And let's go for High Heat Blast. So we're in a position where we can win this game next turn, possibly, if our opponent gets for the knockout on the Volcanion. If they Great Catcher up our Dedenne or double custom catcher, we might be in a bad spot. So we're going to find out really quickly with Smooth Over. Maybe they play Rosa, maybe they're just putting a Great Catcher on top of their deck. It's looking like the end is near here. So, well played on our opponent's behalf. We had a pretty decent start, but one of those things where it just didn't play out necessarily for us. So, solid overall. Great job, man. Alrighty, well that's it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I know that it's one of those things where the deck is sometimes welder reliant, and you do have to watch out for that, but with improving your consistency by discarding cards with Fiery Flint and Giant Hearth, you can boost your odds to hit welders off of Jirachi and other things. So if you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe to our Rare Candy TCG YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone's support. If you want to support the channel a little bit more, you can go to patreon.com/rarecandytcg. You become one of our patrons there by joining on one of our tier lists. We really appreciate all the support we receive from that, and we put all the efforts and proceeds back into the channel. And if you want to support the channel a little bit more, you could go to rarecandytcg.com, pick up some cool merch. We've got a bunch of stuff going on there. And as I said at the beginning of this video, if you are missing anything on PTCGO, you can go to PTCGOstore.com and plug in code rarecandy. Or if you're a patron, you can use our patron exclusive code at patreon.com/rarecandytcg by joining there. Until next time, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.